Guess who needs to listen to his own advice? Guess who needs to watch his videos again? Maybe I should subscribe to a guy called ALEXOA and just watch all of his videos that he's posted about AS, because it's clear that I kind of just ignored it all, to be honest. But I am here to tell the tale, and I think it's an important lesson for me to learn relatively early again, you could say, is that don't push your luck. Yeah, so the reason, well, it's not the reason I've been low on videos, but the reason I've been flaring a bit more recently, maybe you'll see like my flare videos and maybe just not as much, is because I haven't got as much to talk about, because I'm kind of been floating about on a mostly good diet. See the video, I think it was in December when I did kind of mostly good diet, do the job. And what I do remember is that I didn't just say that it does. I literally said I'm trying it, and so far it's going quite well, because it kind of was. I went on holiday back in August last year, holiday diet, came back and kind of kept it up a bit, and then Christmas came, full on Christmas eating, and I was like, great, I'm going to carry this on pretty much. Now, my diet was still good compared to what it had been a few years ago, and my diet is still good compared to most people, I'm sure of that, but there was just enough amount of inflammatory and harmful foods that really allowed my disease, ankylosing spondylitis, to persist and to get worse. So yeah, what exactly did I mean by mostly good? I think that's the question there, the main point. You can't just, what does mostly even mean? Does mostly mean 51% versus 49, or does mostly mean 99% to 100? Or in the case of dieting, if you're mostly sticking to a diet, is that 95% of the time, or is that literally just 60? Now it appears the vagueness, when you're vague with this stuff and you aren't setting a clear goal or a clear plan and maybe tracking it, the mostly can easily go from what was like, oh yeah, I'll keep it about 80, 90, to then every decision you make that you've then got in the back of your mind, oh, I'm on a mostly good diet, I could just drop off that one, to be honest. And then before you know it, you're at 50, 60, which it was like I've done all right, but I've definitely had a worse 6 months than start of 2021 has been worse than the start of 2020, and it came to a point 2 weeks ago and I was like, why am I flaring all this much, and why am I getting these flare-ups from exercise that I thought I'd be okay with? And I was like, oh wait, yeah, I looked at my calendar last year, I was like, oh yeah, you didn't really flare at all last year, and you were doing all different bits of exercise, and I wonder what you were doing different. What about all that AIP you were talking about? Maybe that helped. Yeah, so I was like, yeah, okay, lesson learned. And I think I'm going to be even better from this now, because at first, where it was AIP and I'm going to stick to this 100%, I stick to it 100%, but I was, obviously most humans are incapable of that, and I was 100%, but once every month pretty much I'd have a kind of blowout day, which was absolutely fine, didn't really cause any harm. So now my aim is 90% AIP, and that's a clear 90%. I keep track on my whiteboard of, at the end of the day, notes of AIP, and in the other column, crap. I call it crap just to remind myself that if it's not AIP, then you're effectively not helping yourself, from what I've gathered. So a column for AIP, column for crap, and I'm trying to keep that at 90%, and I am doing that so far. So for example, say if you eat 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, 3 times 7, 21. So you should be having 19 meals, which are AIP. But then that does allow you then 2 a week. Well, it allows me 2 a week. And when I say that, it sounds quite manageable. It sounds like something I could keep up. And so far it's going pretty easy. I just know, stick to this during the week, and then come the weekend, perhaps you can choose which 2 that you want to kind of go, actually, I fancy going out for a meal and not thinking about what I'm ordering, or I fancy just trying this new dish, or I've had a drink and I fancy just getting some crap food and just going out with mates having a pizza. If you can stick to that, I think that definitely, that's a mile better than the mostly good 60%, and it works. And yeah, would maybe be an AIP all the way through work? 100%, yes, and on paper, I've tried that. Did I stick to it? No, I had those blowouts. So how about just finding that like sustainable point where it's like, unless you're willing to make serious sacrifice and stop certain things, you ain't gonna make 100%, mate. So how about you work at 90? And I'd say I'm 2 weeks into this and it's going really well. I've come out of a flare, I'm doing more, I feel better, I feel stronger, I can train. And it's just because I'm eating less gluten, pizza and ice cream and cookies and cake, because it got to the point where it's like, most evenings it would be a treat. It was like, yeah, I deserve some sort of treats. Maybe I'll eat good all day and then I'll have a treat, and then got to a point where I'll eat kind of good all day, and then maybe for my dinner I'd eat whatever the fuck I want. So if that, as in whatever the fuck I want in my terms would be, I know tomatoes are inflammatory, but I'm having spaghetti bolognese, chilies, and sticking a load of tomatoes in whatever slow cooker meal I'm making. I'll have pastas quite often, and then sometimes just eating really low quality oven foods, as I'm the odd pizza. And then for like snacks, back to meal deals, shitty sandwiches, treats. Just it builds up, and what I say is it reduces my resilience to new stimulus and exercise. That's what eating poor food and harmful inflammatory foods does for AS and for me. It increases my susceptibility to access to new stimulus and exercise. So when I do that exercise, it can tip me over the edge more into a big fat flare and depression and sadness, and it's not that bad, but it is pretty shit. So if I can eat well, it increases slowly that resilience, so I can build my body up, add new exercise, and I'm not actually going to hit that flare point, and I can build it up, and the more I do it, I'm going to drop because it's still going higher. The more I can do it, the higher that gets, and I don't hit that flare point, and everything's just on a good cycle rather than high inflammatory, exercise, down, as in injury, start again, start all over again, and you're at that low point. You get the point. Yeah, so the sustainable 90%, that's what it's called. 19 out of 21 meals. If that sometimes gets to 18, it's not going to be the end of the world. And I'm actually looking over weeks and months rather than just say like week and then I'll cross it out. So maybe I'll have 1 week where I'll eat like one meal that's not AIP, then the next I have 4, and I want to see how I am over a month or two. Because it got to a point where it's like, yeah, this is great just being a bit more lax, but so is being able to walk, and so is not being a sick note, and not being able to just get involved in sports and missing out on stuff. And yeah, that's then it's easy. Like I said in all the old videos, it's easy when you've got AS. Again, I kind of see it as a blessing of like, there's no question. It's like I could eat crap, but then I could just see my health deteriorate quickly, whereas most people eat crap and it's just I feel a bit rubbish, or it's just a really slow decline till they get to 40s, 50s, and then realise, oh shit, I've been eating shit for a while, and then it's much harder to recover from that, like from what I've heard, and it makes sense biologically. Yeah, it's much harder. So that's where I'm at. If you've got any questions about this, please ask me. If you've got any videos you want me to make particularly, then let me know. I will keep you updated on how this goes. We have a plan. Yeah, all the best. Nice one, everyone.